As the U.S. continues to grapple with the housing shortage and shifting investor sentiment, Berkadia sits at the intersection of capital, construction, and community development. Joining me now for perspective is Justin Wheeler, CEO of Berkadia, joining us here at the New York Stock Exchange. Justin, thank you so much for coming to sit down with us here at the big board. So we hear a lot about the U.S. housing crisis, right? From the inventory shortage to affordability. From your vantage point of where you sit at Berkadia, what's the most pressing issue?
Yeah, I think that the issue of housing affordability is a real issue. We look at statistics depending on who you talk to, and we're anywhere from 4 million to 7 million housing units short, and specifically on the affordable side. And the thing about apartment buildings or housing is you can't just pick it up and move it to where it needs to go. It takes time to entitle, takes time to develop, takes time to finance and get your capital together. And so it's not something that can be fixed overnight. But as a nation, we certainly are short of housing units, and that's something we need to figure out.
Yeah, and so it's so funny. I remember having conversations, especially because often when you think about commercial real estate with CRE, the conversation over the past couple of years has really been about office, which has been a weak point. But at the same time, you have the challenge with, not enough housing, right, for people to just live. And sometimes I would ask this question about why can't you just convert an office building? And I hear that's obviously difficult because it has a lot of retrofitting has to happen. But so let me ask that question to you. Why can't that happen?
Yeah, you got it right. A lot of cases, the office, either the infrastructure itself is too old or the floor plate doesn't work. People want to have windows, right?
That's a fair point.
They want to look out their bedroom window.
Yeah.
They don't want to, so there are things along those lines that make it difficult to retrofit. There are. Certainly that is happening on a limited basis. But really, if we want to be serious as a country about solving our affordable housing issue, we need to be focused on multifamily housing, densification as a country. We all have this picture of the American dream being, a house with a picket fence, with the kids running out in the yard, so on and so forth. And as financial kind of reality sets in, it really is more about densification and how do we find multifamily housing. And there's some really creative ways that's coming about. There's single family rentals, which are houses with the white picket fence, with the yard, with some amenities, a community pool, but it is actually on a rental basis. And so there's things that developers are trying to be creative around solving this issue.
So, okay, I like the optimism that you have here because a lot of times I talk to different people in this field, and most of the time it's honestly there's this feeling, a very downbeat feeling, which I understand, right? And one question that I've been asking, and now as I think about it, maybe it's the wrong question because I would ask the question, is the American dream dead? So maybe is it that there is a shift in how the American dream materializes, right? Because you make the mention of the white picket fence because that was once upon a time everybody's dream, and now people feel like that's out of reach. Where does multifamily sit in this conversation?
Yeah, I think it's really, it is part of the solution. And what I mean by that is think about there are a lot of people now who are living in homes where they have 3% mortgages, 4% mortgages, and now we're looking at rates that are mid 6s or 7s or even higher. There's a labor mobility issue. If you're having you're in a house with one of those really low mortgages, it's very hard for you to pick up and move if you have a better job opportunity or something, if you have a life event. And so I think just from that perspective of having some labor mobility, as well as just when you own a home, you get these surprise costs. Every once in a while your furnace goes out. Every once in a while the windows leak. It's much more predictable to be in a multifamily environment where you have a set rent payment, the maintenance is taken care of, you know what your utilities are going to be. There's just some real things that multifamily does for our nation that single family doesn't. So is the American dream dead? No, I don't think so, but we're aging. We've got a more aging population. The financial realities are kind of set in there, and the labor mobility, I think, all point towards multifamily as being part of that solution.
And then tell me a little bit about each of the components of your business, because I will say this, when I initially thought about Berkadia, I thought about, seniors.
Yes.
But I know the work that you all do is beyond just senior living.
Yes. So Berkadia, we really have three main lines of business, although we have a lot of other things along those lines. We have investment sales where we make a market for properties, primarily multifamily, but we're also in seniors and student and
student housing, yeah.
Student housing and manufactured housing, single family rentals, all those sorts of places. We also have mortgage banking where we're out there trying to find the very best financing options for our clients. And then on the back end, we service those mortgages that we originate, as well as service for other originators. And so kind of the three-prong: investment sales, mortgage banking, servicing. And
construction lending as well?
We do construction lending as well. I like to say Berkadia has the Hotel California business plan, which is once you come into Berkadia through investment sales or mortgage banking, you never check out.
I won't start singing Hotel California because people will say stick to your day job if I start doing that. Okay, so tell me a little bit about, so I know that Berkadia is jointly owned by Berkshire and Jefferies. So when you think about that ownership piece, how does that structure influence, one, how you all operate and how you all approach, or how investors approach you all?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. The thing that I like the best about our ownership structure is it gives us a long-term view. So we're in an industry where a lot of my competitors are publicly traded, or they're banks, or they have some of these short-term pressures. The best advice, and really the only advice I really got specifically from Warren, was when he said, "Justin, build the best franchise in the industry." And so that allows me to make decisions that I'm not focused on this quarter, next quarter, this year. It's what am I doing today that's making value 5, 7, 10 years down the road.
He means Warren Buffett, by the way, when he says Warren. Anyone who can just say it's on a first name basis with Warren Buffett, who we like to call the Oracle of Omaha. Quick final thought that you want to leave us with, either the thing that makes you the most optimist or the risk on the horizon that you're watching for.
Yeah, they talk about the black swans. There's like a flock of black swans out there, but really what we focus on at Berkadia is what can we influence or what can we impact or control. And we're having a really fun time. We're seeing a lot of opportunities that are out in the market for us to participate in this. How do we continue the American dream? What does that look like into the future? What role does multifamily play? And there's a lot of creativity around it. So I'm very optimistic that we're going to find the solutions as we bring kind of the public and the private together to address the problems.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you, Justin.
All right, thank you, Diane.
Appreciate it. That's Justin Wheeler, the CEO of Berkadia, with a look across the housing market.